So just like the real world, the internet is filled with different groups and communities. One that's emerged from the shadows of the great manosphere is the Incel group. Incels are a growing subculture that exists in real life and online that's filled with mostly heterosexual males that for various reasons cannot find a romantic or sexual partner despite wanting one. Contrary to popular belief, not every incel is a virgin. But all incels started out with one thing in common. But after experiencing the bitter bite of rejection, their perspective changed. It transformed into something dark, something confused, something full of resentment.
There's so many goddamn people saying that my face is ugly, it's repulsive, and I don't know what the fuck to do. I'm stuck in my fucking room because of you motherfuckers!
Most fail once and give up, letting their jealousy and resentment stew. Those that do put themselves out there again find themselves holding onto that feeling of rejection, letting it mold their personality down to the core. Many of them suffer from social anxiety or depression.
Maybe I'm below average, but not repulsive. That is insane. What the hell? You know, I don't want to end up in the hospital again. Fuck. I gotta move on, for God's sake. It's been 3 fucking years like this. What the fuck? You know?
They have a lack of motivation and self-betterment. They base their own value as a human being on the amount of positive attention they get from females. And to them, success in life means one thing and one thing only. So pretty much in a nutshell, incels believe that they're all entitled to not only sex with women, but women in general. Some even look at women as a commodity that should be spread amongst the male population because as far as the game of life goes, they feel they've been dealt a shitty hand, and there's nothing they can do about it. And to them, this is an injustice. They believe in the 80-20 rule.
So now let me get on with the topic. We've often heard that 80% of women chase after 20% of men. That's unofficially the 80-20 rule.
The alpha eats first and the beta gets the scraps. They believe that every woman is vain and the only thing they're interested in is a good-looking alpha male. And all beautiful women out there don't care about traditional nice guys, so there's no point in any form of self-improvement, because it's pointless in their minds.
Whoever's flipping their shit, tell that dude to stop being such an entitled self-bitch. Hey, here's the real fucking world, dude. You never shoot 100% from the field, so if you get turned down, guess what? On to the next one. On to the next one. It's that simple. Stop being a self-entitled bitch. And thinking because since you do basic human fucking actions that you deserve to have every girl that you want. No, motherfucker. It don't work like that. Oh, because you're nice and respectful? Guess what? You're supposed to be. Shut your ugly, musty, dusty, crusty, rusty ass up.
Really the best kind of advice. Harsh, hilarious, but true. A lot of incels view themselves as supreme gentlemen. And a woman's worth is determined by their sexual availability. But at the same time, they contradict themselves by shaming the exact thing they desire. A sexually active woman.
They get the good taste of the genetically superior men. They get that taste, and they will still get married eventually, and they'll be fucking miserable because every single day of their life they'll be thinking back to when they got gang banged by the football team in the locker room. That's what they wanted. They got chosen by genetically superior men.
So you may be asking yourself where all this craziness started. Some say it started with Chris Chan and Chinology, because he was the original Virgin with Rage.
I never wanna hear I have a boyfriend. Tell me why I'm stuck as a virgin with rage. Tell me why.
Some say the events surrounding Elliott Rogers is what really started it all. Even though he was the catalyst to really bring it to the mainstream audience, it actually started in...
Should we blame the government or blame society?
Or should we blame the images on TV?
No! Blame Canada! Blame Canada!
That's right, guys. It all started in Canada. It was started by a college student named Alana who was struggling with her sexual identity in the 1990s. And the community was a lot different then than it is now. Initially, it was mainly based around a website where people could just discuss their thoughts and experiences. But once Alana came to terms with her own sexuality, she gave the ownership of the website to another online user, and after many years and a little push from Elliott Rogers, it became the cesspool it is today. So the media would like to portray incels as this mentally ill time bomb waiting to explode.
It's hard to believe, but the monster who mowed down 25 pedestrians in Toronto is being hailed in the dark corners of the internet as a hero. 25-year-old Alec Manassian called himself an incel, involuntarily celibate.
And well, in some situations they're right. We have to understand that just like everything else in life, correlation does not always imply causation. So every incel isn't a ticking time bomb, but often enough, people with severe mental illness do get grouped in with incels because of common attributes. I think this applies to Elliott Rogers and how he became a martyr for the community.
I've been attending college in Santa Barbara for about 2.5 years now. And in those 2.5 years, I've experienced nothing but loneliness and misery. And my problem is girls. There are so many beautiful girls here, but none of them give me a chance, and I don't know why. I don't know why you girls are so repulsed by me. It doesn't make sense. I do everything I can to appear attractive to you. I dress nice. I'm sophisticated. I'm magnificent. I have a nice car, a BMW. Well, it's nicer than 90% of the people at my college. You know, I'm polite. I'm the ultimate gentleman. And yet, you girls, you never give me a chance. I don't know why.
I'm only bringing this up really because this is one of the things in life that really pissed me off. I just feel like the media will do anything in their power to avoid dealing with the real issue. I feel like way too much emphasis was put on Elliott's failure with women and less on his actual mental health in general. See, Elliott had autism, he was severely depressed, he had anger issues, his family was in no position to supply him any kind of support. If you ever get the chance to check out Elliott's manifesto, it's really long, but it gives you a great insight into the relationship Elliott had with his family and how detrimental his parents' divorce and remarriage was on him. Elliott had major problems before he was ever interested in girls, and I feel violence was inevitably going to manifest regardless of his sexual success. So emphasis on the incel aspect is an easy way to avoid addressing a mental health in general. But in all honesty, that's just my personal bias, so take it for what it is. One thing all incels do have in common though, is severe self-esteem issues.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's I was deluded, like I said, you know, letting go, or maybe I do just feel utterly fucking hopeless again, where it's just you're still, well, maybe I'll continue to get in shape and somebody will notice me. Notice me, senpai. Notice me, GF, you know?
Not every incel is against change. Some just have confidence and self-worth issues that inevitably turn women off. So we're going to take a closer look at someone who I consider to be your average incel. Sure, not everyone's going to be the same as Kyle here, but it does have the characteristics and problems the average incel has. Before you even view one of Kyle's videos, take in the name of the video. Kyle is actively trying to find his true and honest love. He goes on dates, he puts himself out there.
So I ask her, I say, you seem really cool, do you want to hang out sometime? And she said, I'd love to. And I asked her for her number, and she gave me her number. The next day was Saturday, so I'm going to text her Saturday, and I'm going to ask her if she wants to do something Sunday. All the time thinking that it was a fake number. I just hear that that's something that girls do when they're not interested. Obviously they give a fake number, they say the old classic, I have a boyfriend. We set plans for Sunday, where we were going to a little diner, not far away from me. And I pull into the diner, and she's there first, which I thought was a good sign, and there were things in the beginning that made me very uneasy. I'm only about maybe an inch taller than her, which I know that a lot of girls want guys at least 3 inches taller than them to make up for like the high heels or whatever. I was getting some positive vibes, some negative vibes. When we were outside, we looked at each other for a few seconds, and then she hugged me and said, text me if you want to do this again, it's nice seeing you, and then just ran off to her car. I texted her about 5 hours later asking her if she wanted to do anything, and she said, no, she didn't say anything, she didn't respond. When I went into my car, I kind of looked in the rearview mirror because she was behind me, and I saw her kind of on her phone. Now I think maybe she was just blocking my number, and she was saying, text me, to be nice. I don't know why I do this to myself. I'm short. I am very hairy. I'm losing the only hair that really matters on a man, and it's going away very, very quickly. It's going away very quickly, and I don't have the facial structure to be bold. I don't have that.
Why are you still in your pajamas and bathrobe?
Oh, that's because I'm depressed?
Is that why that sad Shel Silverstein blob is following you around?
Who would ever me?
Oh, would you, like to join us?
That didn't sound like a real invitation.
See, this is why no one ever wants to you.
But after initially failing, he starts to go into every situation expecting it to be the same as before. Kyle perceives he knows the outcome because he's lived it. And even though there may be a small glimmer of hope, this whole process is just pointless. And he might not just be good enough for her or anyone. See, Kyle has lost the war before the battle has even begun. He has created a self-fulfilling prophecy of defeat. And worst of all, this type of thinking can and will bleed into other aspects of your life.
I really should have written out a script of waypoints, but eventually he told me that I had to like switch out products on shelves with green tags, switch them out, put the new ones with the red tags in. And there was this one employee who, yeah, you know, you see, I'm gonna, she really didn't like me. I've never had that. I mean, I've certainly had people not like me that, like, you can tell, but I've never had someone so outwardly, like, I was trying to switch in, put new, like, vinyl records in stock, and then switch out the old ones, and, it's all fine. So, yeah, she, you know, I think, like, she was just very rude to me. You know, she said, like, you know, maybe I can just skip this part. I'll skip that part of the story, and then maybe I'll get back to it, but what happened in the end was all the women tried to get me fired at the end of the first day. If I were like Bradley Cooper, I could have fucked up all those books, and they wouldn't have given a shit. Because that's lookism. Because, I mean, I don't have to explain this to you guys. You know that the more attractive you are, the more people are gonna like you. And I'm very. These people made it their fucking duty of the day to just try to.
So I don't like to get too deep or serious here, but I gotta talk about perception and reality for a second, in a small attempt to pass on a little bit of knowledge or advice to any passing incel viewers. So the vast majority of people shape their reality they live in by their perception of the environment and their surroundings. Here's an example of what I mean. So you have two people that walk into a room full of strangers. The first one, Chad, has the mindset that everyone in the room likes him. Chad views himself as an equal. He feels comfortable approaching people and carrying on different conversations. He doesn't reserve his attitude or change his behavior. He's able to show his redeeming qualities. Jeff, on the other hand, walks into the room and thinks he's hated, regardless of whether it's true or not. This is how he feels. He's going to act a lot different than his counterpart. He's going to act cautious, reserved. He's not going to put himself out there. He's going to think he's not as good as others. He's going to question people's motives if they do talk to him, and he may end up pushing people away unintentionally, which is in fact the opposite of what he actually wants. Just like Kyle. And I think this is where a majority of incels are. Sure, there's a lot more to it, like social anxiety and other debilitating factors, but a huge chunk of them are just stuck in the cycle of being their own worst enemy. They're either unaware or just too close-minded to acknowledge that maybe it's not always their appearance that turn women off, but their personality. Because quite frankly, a lot of people nowadays would just rather blame others for their own misfortunes instead of accepting the fact that it's themselves that play a part in their own faults. But regardless, I want to know what you guys think. Make sure to comment down below and tell me if you've had any experience or know anyone in the world of Supreme Gentlemen. Oh, if you guys have any ideas for future topics, feel free to leave them down below. I'm always open to viewer ideas. If you'd like to be a bigger part of the DankNet initiative, check out my Patreon. I'm in the process of updating the perks and adding some extra content, so if that's something you're interested in, feel free to check it out. See you guys next upload.